have it. In Clause 30, Amendment 53G, Lord Moylan.
My Lords, we come now to a number of amendments that relate to clauses 30, 31, 32 and 34. We shall return to clause 33 in an ensuing group. They're a little bit of a rag bag because, I mean, the bill, this part of the bill is something of a rag bag. But I've grouped them together because although they're relatively trivial clauses, they do deserve some level of exploration. Amendment 53G relates to clause 30, and it's to do with the power being given to the Highways Authority to designate trunk roads. This designation at the moment has to be carried out by statutory instrument. Contrary to advice that I suspect would be offered by my noble friend Lord Deben were he still in his place, the government wishes to transfer that power to to Highways England, one can see a sort of, this is not a constitutional point on which to go to the stake, I have to grant. But we are, at least in this amendment, asking that they be required to undertake proper consultation with neighbouring authorities, both highways authorities, planning authorities and local authorities, insofar as they are not the same body. And I would hope that the noble Lord the Minister would be able to agree to that. In clause 31, I have to admit Amendment 53H is a little bit of a tease. This is an amendment where the Department for Transport, pressed to find something that they could put into this bill, have gone so far as to say, wouldn't it be a nice idea to standardise notice periods so that instead of having 6 weeks under the Transport and Works Act, we move it to 30 days. The only thing about that is that if you turn to the explanatory notes, the example of standardisation given is the Planning Act, where it says the notice period is 28 days. So I've tried to be helpful to the government here in correcting 30 days and changing it to 28 days so that it's compliant with the explanatory notes the government has itself produced. Was the government being simply inattentive? And how much time should we spend debating this, I wonder, and this clause? If I turn now to Amendment 53I, which relates to Clause 30. Clause 30, which relates, I beg your pardon, to Clause 32, 4, sorry. This raises, my amendment raises a similar concern to that which I raised in relation to Clause 30. The clause dispenses with the need for a statutory instrument in confirming certain schemes. Again, the question here is whether the Secretary of State should be taking those powers to himself and away from Parliament. But the amendment is much more honest. The Secretary of State is obliged to publish confirmation of an order or scheme when he makes that confirmation, but it doesn't actually say what deadline he has to meet when he does make that confirmation before he actually issues the publication. So we're suggesting that he should have to do so, or she in this case should have to do so, within 7 days. So we think that is one that should be done. Turning to Clause 34, this clause changes the Transport and Works Act. It's our first clause that relates to the Transport and Works Act in this section. And again, model provisions are provided at the moment by statutory instrument, and again, the government is taking that power away and giving it to ministers. Is that really necessary? Would it not be better for Parliament, out of respect for Parliament, to leave it in the statutory instrument process so that they can at least be scrutinised and debated when they are changed, rather than simply made by ministers and objected to afterwards. With that, I beg to move.
Amendment proposed in clause 30, page 44, line 3, at end, insert the words on the marshalled list. Amendment 53G.